Ladies and gentlemen, by now I'm sure you've heard all about toxic masculinity. The idea that being a man or being masculine is inherently bad or toxic. Children are being taught that in no uncertain terms that being a male, being a boy, is some type of evil gender. And that is hurting people. That is hurting young men, and this is what this particular video is all about. Believe it or not, men are 5 times more likely to die of suicide than women. In the modern era, women are much more educated than men. More men are homeless, more men are in prison, more men are the victims of violent crime. Fathers are less likely to get custody of their children over mothers, and the list goes on. Now, I recently made a video just a couple of weeks ago about the problems with modern femininity, and it is only fair that I follow suit and do it all about the other gender. So ladies and gentlemen, here are the problems with modern masculinity. But first, this video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Safety and security are 2 very important parts of everyday life. Particularly on the internet, every day you are under threat from dirty, rotten soy boys trying to target you. And most internet users aren't even aware. If only there was someone to protect you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Surfshark VPN is here to do just that. Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard to trace online user and makes the internet a safer and more enjoyable place for you. With a click of a button, you can forget about data mining and intrusive advertisements. And do you know what geo-blocking is? On Netflix and other streaming sites, you can only watch certain shows if you're in a particular country. With Surfshark VPN, you can appear to be in that country and watch those shows. Surfshark gives you all the access you need. Just connect to the service and refresh the page. Access granted. I use Surfshark every single day, and it automatically starts up when I turn on my laptop. And whenever I need it, I activate it with just 1 click. Ladies and gentlemen, use the promo code BUTSMAN to get 83% off and 3 extra months for free with Surfshark VPN. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you know that you're in good hands. The link is in the description below. Go and check it out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to the big problems that we face with modern masculinity. Problem number 1. Modern men are weak. The regression of masculinity has only intensified over the past few years. And it is with fear, vitriol, and anger aimed towards men, it's no wonder that they are regressing. Particularly when it comes to universities and college campuses worldwide. Young men with malleable minds being told by lecturers that being a man is a bad thing. That they should be ashamed of what they cannot control. They are to blame for the things that have happened to women in the past, and only they can stop it. Not men as a whole, that individual male. They're being indoctrinated into the belief that they are a part of an evil cabal known as the patriarchy. Of course, all of that is fucking ridiculous, but if you beat a dog to its knees for its entire life, it will never stand up. And that's what's happening here. Now, when I say they're becoming weak, I don't mean that being an emotional person or being in touch with one's feelings or even being feminine is akin to being weak. In fact, me, the old Butterfield here, you know what I get up to when I'm not screaming at a camera like a fucking idiot? I rescue greyhounds. I enjoy my time with my partner. We look after our families. We do all these beautiful things together. And you know what? That may be seen as feminine. And that's fine. Sometimes when I'm in the kitchen cooking dinner and my greyhound Rosie, pictured right here, look at that little darling, she comes in and she demands dinner because it's 6:01 and she gets dinner at 6 o'clock, and if she doesn't get it on time, she carries on like a pork chop. You know what I do sometimes? I pick her up by her little feet and she stands up with me because she's quite tall, and we dance. We fucking dance, alright? I am 6'8" with a beard. I could grow a clitoris and still be more of a man than half of the fucking incels out there. It's okay to be feminine. It's okay to be in touch with your feminine side, gentlemen. It's not being weak. You can talk about your feelings. You can talk about your issues. That's not being weak at all. Being weak is something far more horrible. Women do not like weak men. And those who do are hairy armpitted fools that don't want to be with a man. They want to own a man. Being a strong, masculine human being doesn't mean you're a horrible piece of shit and mean and rude and you yell and you try and staunch people. No. It means you're stoic. It means you face adversity head on. It means you look after the ones around you. It means you're a good motherfucker. It means, and this is how I sort of thought about it when I was writing this video. The way to be the perfect man is be the man you wish your father was. That, I think, is the best way to look at this. Which moves on immediately to my next point. Men are scared. Men are scared of being men. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a man. Nothing. There is something wrong with being a tyrannical asshole who bullies people and is just a piece of shit in general, but that's not being a man. Anyone who tells you that there's something wrong with being masculine is a fucking liar, and they're full of absolute shit, and you should never listen to that person ever again. Weakness stems from fear. And so many men, young and old, are terrified of being caught doing something wrong. Now, that does sound like something quite scary. And, you may think, hang on, if they're going to do something wrong, then they should be called out for it. But what is defined as wrong now is ridiculous, okay? If you talk to a girl at the office, that's sexual harassment. If you ask her out, that's sexual harassment. If you look at her, that's sexual harassment. Now, there are sexual harassers out there that do horrible pieces of shit and things like, when you wolf whistle at a chick out of your fucking ute when you're a tradie, that poor chick, she just wants to fucking walk, even though she's wearing a G-bag, she's fucking walking half the birds out there. My point being, leave people alone. It's a tough one, I get it. But that's what this sort of society has created. Men are scared to approach women. Men are scared to do anything that puts them out there as a masculine person. Men are scared to post shit on Instagram that may make them seem like they're part of the patriarchy. Men are scared. They don't want to be labelled as a sexist or a homophobe or a transphobe. They don't want to lose their jobs or their living or their family because of it. They don't want to be called out on social media for things that they don't even really believe. That is where this fear comes from. Men as a gender are walking on the eggshells of society, waiting for a booby trap to jump out in a gotcha moment. This fear and previously covered weakness is what is leading more and more men to become things known as incels, involuntary celibates, who refuse to have sex because they're scared of women or rejection, which is just insane. If you get to my age of 27 and you haven't been rejected 1,000 times, you're not trying, mate. The thing about fear is, though, it often manifests itself in an outwards fashion. What I mean by that is that can lead to violence. If you push an animal up against a wall, what does it do? It has no choice but to fight back. And that's where we see a lot of these incels shooting up places and all that horrible shit. It's because they're scared. They're scared, and there's a lot of reasons they're scared. Maybe they had a horrible childhood or a whole variable of different things. It's not just because masculinity is being attacked. But I bet it's got something to do with it. But more so than the violence, we see men imploding upon themselves, withdrawing to their own minds. They get trapped into this gulag that is their own thoughts, and they become something known as Peter Pan. They never grow up. They never change. They never change their thoughts, their ideas, or their ideologies, and they always remain that 16-year-old boy who is terrified of the world. And that is a big problem. Which brings me to my final point. Men are fucking that scared that they hide. With weakness and fear infecting men's minds, they withdraw and they see life as too hard. Success is untenable, love is fiction, and responsibility is to be avoided at all costs. So they hide. And hiding isn't living at all. It leads to sadness, weight issues, and worst of all, hatred. Men are hiding so much that it has become very much a woman's world. More women are going to university than men, they're getting higher paying jobs, and that's a great thing for women. But I think as most people who watch this channel understand, it shouldn't be about gender. Everyone needs an equal go, regardless if you got a cock or it's the other C word, alright? I'm not allowed to say that anymore on YouTube because they're freaking out. My point being, we are all in agreement here. I think most of us here, we believe that everyone should be given a fair go regardless. That's the Australian attitude. Give everyone a fair go. And this needs to be played up for men more. I don't want to seem like a men's rights activist because I'm not. I'm just being logical here. Because men right now are being socially castrated. Their ability to be masculine has been removed. And that is being done by social media and universities and the people around them. That's a scary thing. It's a scary time to be a dude in many respects. Mainly because if you are beaten to your knees and kept there, then you, as a young man or as an old man, are not ready for the turmoil that life will throw at you, and it will throw it at you. That is fucking worrying. That's why we see these suicide rates that are through the roof for men, and they're only going to increase. So, what do? We've identified all these issues for men. Let me give you a couple of fucking answers for what you can do immediately. Number one, sort your fucking body out. If you're overweight, do something about it. Work out how many calories you need to eat a day. Go to a calorie calculator and then work out what 20% less of that is, and then aim for that amount. Download MyFitnessPal, track your calories, and go to the gym. All right? 5 days a week. 1 day push, 1 day pull, 1 day legs, rest, then repeat. If you don't know what I'm fucking talking about, Google it, work it out, lose some weight, look after your body. All right? That's the first step. Step 2, education. Educate yourself. Read Orwell, read Peterson, read philosophy. Get some information in that fucking skull. Yeah? Listen to podcasts. Listen to other people and be able to change your thoughts on things when you obtain new information. That is so important. And number 3, ego. Fuck your ego off. Change the person who you want to be. Don't walk around, don't staunch motherfuckers. You don't need to be a big tough motherfucker anymore. You don't, okay? Enjoy being around people. If you see someone you don't know, give them a head nod. Say, g'day, mate. Something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think if men take these things on board and then finally they change, then the problems with modern masculinity will go by the wayside. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. And yeah, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Keep it moist. And I'll see you all very soon. Toodle of a bye.